voice is mad dry. I said I was going at 1. It's a little after 1. So I hope people were ready already. Hi. Hi. I'm getting my hair together. Don't mind me. Oh my God. One pin Barbie. That's what we're going for today. We're gonna go with that. Okay. So I was a little late because I didn't realize I had put my notes in my phone or use my notes in my phone to put my notes for this conversation. And I realized that I was gonna need my phone for the live, so I couldn't use my notes in my notes. So I had to write them down. So pardon me, that's why I'm late. I also was gonna have this conversation yesterday, but I ran to the bank yesterday and they are not taking they're not allowing you to use your chip on your phone to access the ATMs anymore. And I left my card because I don't normally carry my card because why if I have my phone, right? So yeah, I had to make 2 trips to the bank. And after that, I was like, man, fuck that. I could have this conversation tomorrow. I definitely wanted to have this conversation today and definitely before um Friday and Saturday because today is the 31st, tomorrow is September 1st. And I'm not trying to bring none of this old ass, whack ass energy into August. I mean, into September, from August into September. I'm not trying to do that. Because if you don't already know, September 4th is my birthday. So it's currently 4 days away. 31st, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's 4 days away. And these last couple of weeks, I was outside. I was outside engaging with people, and people have a tendency to get on my nerves anyway. And so, since it's Virgo season, and since the beginning of Virgo season, we've been in the Mercury retrograde. I've definitely like it showed itself. And so, in the midst of me still trying to get my life together, of course, yeah, I've had some arguments with people. Yes, the birthday. The birthday is coming up. I've had some arguments with people. People have had some arguments on the internet, and we're going to be talking about um one of those today because it seemed it got real personal. It got real um what would you say? DK, what would you say? It got real personal, real nasty unnecessarily. And then it's like with the previous conversation of folks talking about women and misogyny, and then Funky Dineva get into all of this, it was just like too much. Calm down, too much. And yeah, like personally, I got into an argument with somebody like recently. It wasn't too crazy, but I ended up calling them a fucking dumbass. And anybody who knows me knows, like, I don't like to insult people in conversations. I like to knock them down with the facts. I like to knock them down with the facts. I like to stick to the point. A lot of people, they get into conversations and they like to deflect to all this other stuff, and we are going to see prime examples of that happening. Yeah, deflect it to other every other stuff and trying to purposely misunderstand you so that we can reach a resolution and understand it. And honey boo boo, I don't have time for that anymore in my next life. Okay. We are under a full moon, a super blue moon that's not coming back allegedly until like 2037. And so this is rare times. We need to take advantage of all of the juiciness that's happening right now. And yeah, this is a one in a lifetime type situation. Are you going to move on with your life, continue in doing the same old whack ass bullshit that led you to go down these whack ass bullshit ass lives, situations, people? No. So yeah, we're going to get into some things. Hopefully we can walk away with some new things. And no, I did not feel like getting out of bed. Okay, my room is a mess. Okay, I had to relocate some things, and no, you can't see that. And but it's affected me. So I'm staying in my bed today and I'm having a conversation with y'all. Hopefully, you're having some lunch and we could open up the conversations. Definitely put some things in the chat. Let me know that you're alive and present. Okay, so from this whole thing, we're talking about hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Like that's the point, right? You saw the monkeys. Those monkeys actually, or these monkeys were a gift from my sister's mom, my other mom. And this was also during a time where my dad had passed away, and I was like really considering God being a woman and the ability of what it's like to have or the blessing of having two moms, like to have strong women in your life. Anyway, speaking of having strong women in your life, let's speak about what we're here to talk about. Chloe, Haley, and Funky Dineva, social media. We're also going to use Kiki Palmer as an example to like bring some of this stuff together. So last week, Haley, there was rumors, like there were people speculating on the internet that Haley was pregnant by her boyfriend DDG. And people were up in the outrage, like, oh no, not our little mermaid. You know, the same way people felt back in the day when Brandy got pregnant and then she had to lie about her marriage and, you know, all this other stuff. So right now is outgrown, doing her thing, up in the industry, talented, beautiful, you know, a blessing to us. But nevertheless, Haley was seen in the live in the background of DDG's video, and people have been speculating that she was pregnant. Then it also followed up to her like going to a concert or some sort, and she was meeting or like greeting a what do you call it, a fan, and she had a overshirt, like a really big shirt, short set, and people were still speculating that she was pregnant. And so Haley hasn't said anything about it. She has put up pictures. I don't know if she was addressing the rumors, but it doesn't look like from the pictures that she was posting that she was pregnant. However, people did say that it looked like she was pregnant from the live that DDG was posted from, like she was walking in the background with a shirt. She did walk with a wobble or whatever the case. Fine, whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe her feet was tired. My feet was tired recently from walking around. Shit, I was outside like 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row. Who does that? That's not my life. So me, I don't do that. So yeah, she was wobbling or whatever. And then, like I said, from the concert, people were speculating, whatever. And so people on social media, after speculating this, were also feeling some type of way because their relationship history isn't so healthy. If somebody say, like, there's been times where he's embarrassed her, quote unquote. There's been times where people have said that he has tried to outshine her on the red carpet. There's been times where he's disrespected her by speaking to his ex, Ruby Rose, in the midst of them having an argument. He has made tweets or subs about her on Twitter, also known as X now, whatever the case. I've never been, well, I have been on Twitter for a short period of time, but I don't know what the hell is going on now these days. And so, yeah, she hasn't addressed the rumors at all. Chloe looked like she was about to be on her way somewhere, and she's sitting in the chair. She looks like she's about to get her glam done, and in the height of these rumors circulating, she addresses it by saying like, and y'all better keep my sister's name out your mouths. It was like a short little clip. She was like, yeah, I'm about to do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And all I know is like it looked like she was reading in the comments, y'all better keep my sister's name out of y'all mouths. And so obviously it seems like, okay, see, their relationship isn't ideal. Fair. So it seems like because of this unidealistic situation, and people are very connected to and people are connected to her because she is one half of Chloe and Haley. She is the little sister of Chloe. She is the little mermaid. She sounds like an angel. She has this song Angel, and so people feel like they need to protect her. And so on one end you have social media trying to protect her, and then you have, you know, Chloe trying to protect her in a way that is separate from social media. So it's like, don't speculate on a woman's pregnancy. That's just like, first and foremost, you shouldn't even want to do that. Like, for a long time, people were speculating Kiki Palmer's pregnancy before she announced it. And this whole time, I'm looking like, yeah, she's pregnant. She's obviously pregnant, but that's not my business. Yeah, look, I speculate a whole bunch of things on social media that I don't say out loud. And it's like, that's what I think is pretty fucked up too, because now we're also in a place where people are saying things to people's faces or in text messages. And because of the law, you really can't put hands on them. Like, my biggest thing, I'm not going to jail. I'm not going to jail. I don't want to go to court. Like, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of beating your ass. I'm afraid of the consequences of me beating your ass. You get what I'm saying? It's about the bigger picture, right? And speaking on the bigger picture of things, the the ability to carry a life is very fickle. There are parents here, there are mothers here in the chat right now who are watching this right now, who are mothers, who understand the fragility that comes with being able to carry a whole baby for 9 months as it's growing, as it's transitioning from different phases, having to transition that baby from in your body to out in the world. That's a real special sacred situation. Okay, you, from me being pregnant, you already know that I'm fucking, and that's none of your business. Like, that's none of your business whether I'm having sex or not. And so now that I'm pregnant, there's obvious proof that I'm having sex. So, you know what I'm saying? It alludes to a lot of other different things. But if a mother is not saying out loud, or if a pregnant woman is not saying out loud that she is with child, then it's not your business. That doesn't leave for you to ask, like, hey, are you pregnant? That doesn't mean for you to ask in person, hey, you look like you're pregnant. Are you pregnant? That doesn't mean for you to dare near ask on social media. And that comes to like these paranormal relationships that people end up having, which makes it really weird to be fans of somebody these days. Dave Chappelle just did a show and it's called The Lunatics Manifesto. It's a real thin line between a fan, which is short for fanatic, to a lunatic. Like you're just straight up crazy over people that you don't even know. You go all up in the lives of people that you don't even know. Now you all up in the womb and the coochie of somebody that you don't even know. Online, out loud to a bunch of other people who you don't know. Sure, we all have speculation. Sure, we all may whisper and gossip, but that's why you're supposed to be talking to people that you could trust. There's a whole bunch of energy out there that could mess up the life of an unborn child. Just wishes. You know what I'm saying? And that goes into a conversation that we're going to have later on about words of affirmation and things of the such. But from that whole thing with Chloe and Halle, with people speculating about Halle's pregnancy, Chloe coming to the defense and saying, "Don't talk, like keep your sister's name out of y'all mouths." Funky Dineva is a black man who has this black woman alter ego on YouTube. Right. Mercedes say, and even if they all were child, you're not helping them, so it doesn't matter. Exactly. Exactly. Move on. That's not your business. It's not your business until she makes it your business. And if she hasn't said anything about it, then you shouldn't be saying anything about it. Like that goes to like nose jobs. I speculate about people having nose jobs all the time. Okay, there are multiple people in the industry who y'all think are drop dead gorgeous who've had nose jobs. But I don't talk about that because if I end up talking about how they got nose jobs in the midst of other people saying how pretty and gorgeous they are, doesn't that make me a hater? That's none of my business. That's none of my business if sis got a nose job. It's none of my business if sis got a BBL. It's none of my business if sis got whatever she got to enhance whatever she got to get the compliments that she's now getting. Her compliments don't have nothing to do with me, just like her surgeries or whatever the fuck had nothing to do with me. So why would I now just go on the report and just be like, oh yeah, so and so has the SYZ, blah blah blah, la la la. Like, what would be the point of me telling you that? Like we've gotten to a point where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm her number one fan. I know all of her business. No, the fuck you don't. And Chloe saying that, so the point with Funky Dineva was that he ends up bringing it up because he is on a show. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't even believe that this was even happening. What I'm about to describe to you. He is on the internet show with Claudia Jordan, and Al Freeman, I think his name is. Now, for those who don't know, Al Freeman was married to Star Jones. And Claudia Jordan is basically the moderator of the conversation. So she brings up the topic and she pitches it off to Al first. And the first thing he says is that, it's okay for he comes off all woman positive, like, oh yeah, it's okay if you're with child or if you're pregnant right now. The only thing is like don't lie to your fans. Like, why would you lie to your fans? And especially don't play in our faces like we can't see like you're not pregnant right now. The last thing you want to do is lie to your fans. Ow, bro. You was married to Star Jones. Remember? Claudia Jordan says, Al, I think you need to be careful about who you saying and what you saying about talking about lies and protecting brands and things of that nature. You should be careful. Careful. Well, tread lightly. He was married to Star Jones when she was fat on The View. The whole wedding was fucking sponsored. Like now people are getting their shit sponsored, but Star Jones was like one of the first people who had her whole situation sponsored where she did not pay for a dime, which means he did not pay for a dime for anything on that wedding. And the whole time she was his beard. He was her beard. Shit, who was going to marry her? She's in this play relationship with this gay dude. who eventually comes out as being gay to the man that we know now today, who's sitting on the show talking about, oh, don't lie on your brand. Like, don't create your brand off of a lie or something like that. Like, yeah, you worked in PR, this, and that. That's their job, right? It's to create a narrative, whether it's true or not, to whether it's true or not, to protect the interests of the brand that is bringing money from this particular person and how they represent themselves out in the public. PR, public relations, right? Spin the story, create the narrative. So yeah, so he moves on from that point, or Claudia clocks him, and then she moves on, and she's just like, she makes the whole point too of like, what is the big deal that men are obsessed with, or people are obsessed with other people's wombs, like, or women's wombs, or what's going on with their womb? Like, what is the big deal about people being obsessed with that? Like, people have I told you so parties, at baby bump reveals. Like, their first sentence is not congratulations, it's I told you so. Who the fuck you told? I know you didn't tell her, because that's not the conversation you have with her. You sit up here having a conversation with somebody else. So Funky Dineva goes in, and he is like speaking about how he is not happy, or he's disappointed with Hallie's decision to have this baby, or to be pregnant by this man, and all of this other stuff. But then he goes into Chloe, and he just lights her up, talking about everything about her is disingenuous. Like, her sex appeal is disingenuous. Her music sucks. That's why it's not selling. And then he goes for the kill, as far as like, I don't even know why. Basically, she got her fat ass face on this live, calling her fat and ugly. Funky Dineva. Funky Dineva. You're a full blown man, dressed sometimes in a tacky ass wig and busted makeup on purpose. And then you got the nerve to critique another black woman in the midst of you mocking black women. Oh yeah, girl, this isn't that, blah blah blah. Or if Funky Dineva is your alter ego, and your alter ego is a ratchet, ghetto ass, whack ass black woman, why? Let's talk about that. Why are you talking about the looks of her? She's in the midst of getting her makeup done. And her face without her makeup on is none of our business, because she's a performer. Not to say that she's a clown or anything like that, but like, is a part of the getup. We had a conversation about maintenance, right? So what does one thing have to do with the other? She's asking you to stop fucking talking about her sister, and you feel some type of way that she's asking you to stop talking about her sister? What? Again, this is what happens when people are being held to, or held accountable for something that they're doing, and they just want to move it around. Like, this ain't about that. This is about what I just said. You sitting up here talking shit about my sister. Everybody out here is talking shit about my sister. Stop talking shit about my sister. Period. Is she gonna come out and shoot y'all? No. Does she give off the appearance that she's a violent person? No. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't curse. She made, like, when you can't control someone else, right? You place a boundary. Now she's in a place right now trying to control other people. Like, keep my sister's name out of your mouth. Since you're not going to be able to do that. But when you don't like something, you have to communicate that something is happening and you don't like it. I don't like that y'all are talking about my sister, that y'all are speculating about my sister. I don't like that y'all are talking about my sister's relationship and y'all don't know what the fuck is going on. For real, for real. So he issues an apology, and then people are speculating, oh, it's not a real apology, it's a fake apology, all this other stuff. And it's just like, I don't even know why people do that. Y'all sit up here and speculate everything. Y'all sit up here and want to cancel people. Y'all sit up here and want to point out all of the things that people do wrong. And then when somebody tries to rectify the situation or try to make it right in that particular moment, because you can't wait 3 days and not say nothing, because if you wait 3 days to say something, it's not real. If you say something too fast, then it's not real. If you say something that they don't want you to say, it's not real. Like all of these things is just like all of these possibilities that people pick apart apologies. They pick apart apologies and then it's like, oh, it's not real. And then it's like, I understand why people don't want to apologize to people. I understand that. Hey, excuse me. Good morning. Right here is 1:32. So it's afternoon. So good afternoon from here. But yeah, I understand why people don't want to apologize to other people. People make it hard to want to apologize to them. Because it's like, first of all, I don't even want to admit that I did anything wrong in the first place. That's one. Two, it could be I didn't want to hurt you in the first place. And so, like, the fact that you saying that I'm doing something wrong and now I need to apologize to you is kind of like, what? What is that? Right? And then it's like when I do apologize, I don't say my words properly. And then it's like, oh, now it's a confrontation because, like people make it hard to apologize to people. I understand that. I understand that. However, you should apologize. You should apologize. And people are only going to be willing to apologize the same way people are only willing to love you from a place of where they've already healed from the place of understanding of the situation. So sometimes you trying to provide people understanding for the situation could feel like belaboring a point. And that's when you have to just know that, like, look, this person will never understand what I'm saying. I just need to, express what I'm saying so that because this person did something to me, it's on me now. It's not my responsibility to have this because it was afflicted on me. You get what I'm saying? Like if somebody let's say trips and falls, right? They trip and fall and they scrape their leg. Trauma would tell you to never walk on that street again because that street did something to you. Trauma would tell you don't walk on that street again. At the end of the day, though, it's still your responsibility to heal the wound that was afflicted on you. And sometimes in this situation is adding peroxide, putting a band-aid on it, boom, boom, boom. In this situation where someone has did something to you in a communication point of view, you have to meet them at the communication point of view. Like, hey, you did this to me or you said this to me. It made me feel X, Y, and Z, and I would prefer that you don't do that again. If it's real, say it and let the reaction they give you go. Exactly. Because what's the reaction is going to show you who that person is, right? Or is going to show you, like at this point in my life, the reactions that people give to you bringing up truth to them has nothing to do with me, right? In the Bible, there's a and I don't know this for sure. I heard somebody say this, but there was somebody in the Bible where it was just like God had put something in them to say something and they didn't say it, and because they didn't say it, it wrecked the ship. You get what I'm saying? Like if God tells you to say something and you don't say it, it has the potential to not only corrupt the ship or the situation, it or the relationship, it could corrupt you also. Because you are holding on to a truth and you just and I've experienced that as far as like holding on to shit, like holding grudges and shit like that. Not even holding grudges. Not saying something that I know I should have said. The consequences of not saying something that I should have said. I'd rather be like, I told you so, because then it's off me. You know what I'm saying? I saw something, I witnessed something, I said something, that's off me. You know, I did all of that I could do in my power. I couldn't physically do anything to change it. I told somebody who possibly could. And what they did after that, beyond me. But when it comes to apologies, people make it hard to apologize. So it's just like, oh, I don't want to apologize, X, Y, and Z, right? But then it's just like, too, people also don't want to apologize because of the responsibility that comes on the other side of the apology, right? It's like the whole point of apologizing is to, one, recognize that you had did something wrong. Recognize that you did something wrong. Let's put a pin in that. One, recognize you did something wrong, right? Recognize you did something wrong. How do you recognize that you did something wrong? Someone is going to tell you, hey, you did something wrong to me. And you could either go, no, I didn't. You could go, no, I didn't. You could go, I didn't mean to. You could go, um, I didn't mean to is also the same as that wasn't my intention, right? But those people who immediately go to no, I didn't, that's scary. That's scary. That's scary because like where do we go from there? Because now we're not even talking about how what you did hurt me. We're now talking about if you even did that thing, which means it's impossible for me to be hurt right now, which means that you don't see a reason why you need to apologize because their feelings are valid. Wait, can you come on here? Are you busy? Avoid those people with zero accountability at all costs. That's true. Avoid them. Avoid them, yes, right? But what if those people are in your family? Do you like? I'm not gonna say what if those people are your family because some people just not fuck with their family. I get that, but like, I'm gonna put it like this: if family, friends, like, I feel like abundance has a way of showing itself in people. Yeah, avoid your family too. Yeah, fine. So I feel like sometimes when Mercedes, I got you. I'm gonna come back to you in a minute, okay? But when it comes to like abundance, I felt or no, let me back up a little bit. People, when it comes to people, I feel like people are in your life for a particular reason. I just saw like a thing recently that is like people in your life, every experience that you have is a mirror. And some people could look in the mirror and some people are frightened because they can't even tell like if it's even real or not. Um my point is when you're born into a particular family, there are lessons that either you need to learn or lessons that you need to teach to your family members, right? And I think that yes, the pendulum could swing wide enough so it's like you're either in my life or you're not in my life, or you could be the example on how to express boundaries. Like my family, for instance, we're really a tight knit family. We have family group chats, we have family occasions, we celebrate, and we know exactly for the most part who's going to be there. We celebrate everything, right? And so there was a time where me and my sister wasn't really getting along. She had did something to me, or she was constantly doing something to me, and I just had enough. And so I went like a whole year not speaking to her. I went a whole year not speaking to her, and it was kind of annoying. It was kind of annoying just her existence, just being around. It felt like she was a mosquito. I felt like I had to like wear a whole bunch of bug repellent just to be around. And that made me uncomfortable. So, yeah, it helped because I knew I was right in not talking to her or ignoring her or whatever the case, but the fact that she was even around just got on my nerves. So I got to a point where I had a conversation with her and I shared with her, you know, the root, the actual root of what was not her annoying me at the time, but the root of what I felt like the crack of our relationship was. And sis could not, she could not hold it, and it's fine. So now, like, since then, I felt like I'm always do that. I've learned that I can't let things bottle up because I'm the type of person that will say something that will really hurt your feelings. But because she's my sister and my older sister at that, that's not a relationship that I really want to burn. I feel like, granted, she's my oldest sister, but she's the relationship that I have in this is to teach her. It doesn't matter that she's older than me and she needs to teach me, or I have to follow what she says because she's older and she's the authoritative, the authoritative person in this relationship, because she's not. I am the authoritative in this relationship. I am the authority of me. You get what I'm saying? And so anything that happens to me, I have to take care of me, even if it's you that's harming me. And if it's you that's causing me harm and I'm not in like any in like danger, it's still my responsibility to wash it off of me and gift it right back to you. And you not being able to understand what the hell is going on, your own state of confusion has nothing to do with me. That's now you sitting on your own state of confusion. You hold that and have that. That has nothing to do with me. And so that's how I feel. Every time she does something, I'm just going to tell her. She's going to continue to miss the point. It's going to continue to show me that she's going to miss the point. But that has nothing to do with me, whether she misses the point or not. I still have the responsibility to take that shit off of me. And because she is who she is going to show up everywhere on her, not on me, because that's not who I am. Jabril was good. Okay, we're talking about apologies. So I hope that helped you on that. Now, Mercedes, you still here? Doo-doo-doo. Okay, so until Mercedes comes back, we're gonna move on. So Funky Daniva, okay, she's here. Okay, okay. Why is it not going? I'm trying to accept you, but it keeps popping up. Is this the retrograde? Oh, thank you, God. I was about to start blacking. Okay, go. I kind of forgot which one I was piggybacking off of. Okay, let me see. Oh yeah, I know somebody said something like, oh, you said what happens when it's your family, and then you got into this spiel about you and your sister. Mm. And I feel like one thing that I learned from somebody else that told me that before. Well, I used to feel like the way too, like you know how
some people are very adamant and big on, oh, it's my family, I gotta be okay with certain shit, X, Y, and Z, whatever. I feel like we make so many excuses for our families. And people in our families like, oh, well, my mother be doing fucked up shit and I still fuck with my mother or whatever because she my mother. And it's like, damn, are we really like not holding the next grown person accountable for behaviors that they're displaying versus holding somebody accountable that's not related to us? So it's like, it's kind of hard to deal with, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't want to jump to conclusions, but when it comes to parents doing fucked up shit, a lot of that time has to do with impulses that they can't control, right? And I'm just speaking from like a general sense. I don't think a parent wants to let you like really fuck over their child. I don't think that unless like they have something really imbalanced. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like at that particular point, that's where the child has to realize that this person is not in a space to parent you. Like that's the reality of it. That this person is not in a space to parent you, and yeah, it's a fuck up situation, and you may not have the resources at this particular moment, and you may just see that that person is the only person responsible for providing it to you. It's not. That's when you have to realize that other things and accept that that parent is impulsive and inadequate, relinquish them from that job because that's not their job anymore. Holding on to that expectation doesn't, do you any good, especially when sometimes when your parents are fucked up enough where they're putting you in situations where you are in physical danger. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different situation than an argument or, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely understand. Somebody just wrote the nation and have kids.
That's true. That's true. But a lot of people see children like, backwards than me. People have children out of happenstance. Like, oh, it happened. Now they got to react to having children. But those type of people are already operating in life a little bit backwards. So like you can't blame them, right? You can't blame them. The fact of the matter is that at the same time, some it's still what are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? It's too late at that point.
But they do become after a while, like I was like you were saying, even when it was like when your sisters was in your same presence, whatever, and she felt like a mosquito, it gets like that because it's like you don't want to be harvesting these deep feelings or letting time go by and then you still not talking to somebody. But who are they to? I can't read the comments and talk. But who are they to like discredit or devalue your feelings or how they made you feel or how they constantly make you feel? Where it's like, I'm letting you know as an adult and you're the next adult, this makes me uncomfortable, this makes me upset, and you continue to do it, it's blatantly disrespectful. So it's like, damn, I got to keep giving you the chances and giving you that grace because you're my sister, because you're my mother, because you're my cousin. But you keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's just kind of frustrating.
It does become frustrating. But that's when the acceptance of the behavior has to come. Like there has to be like a new level of understanding when this person just has this inability to do it. You get what I'm saying? Especially when it's the same thing. My sister, when it comes to her, it's the same thing. And it's like she don't understand one, right? She can't take accountability that this is the same thing. And so she keeps setting herself up to do the same thing all the time. To just fuck up the same way all the time. And people keep wanting to give her the benefit of the doubt. And she just keep missing it all the time. She just keep missing it all the time because she can't even admit that she be doing stupid shit like that. So it's just like at this point, like, you either laugh about it or you let it frustrate you. To me, I think it's a joke at this point because she's too fucking old to be doing this shit all the fucking time. So, but that's not on me anymore. At this point, it's just a witness. And I'm just a witness to keep reminding her, look, you doing this again. It ain't affecting me,
You're
but
back at it.
you doing this again. And I feel like a lot of times when it comes to family dynamics, there's not enough people communicating what's wrong in a healthy way. You get what I'm saying? And now this person is just like feeling like they're being attacked all the time. But some people can't just help. They can't help themselves from being a victim. It's just like you just got to reiterate it a million times. And they shouldn't have kids. Yes, you can blame them. We can't absolve them of their accountability. No, you can't absolve them of the accountability, but you can't force them to change either. Like, just you can hold it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you could hold somebody accountable a million and one times. You could do that, but as long as they're not willing to take accountability, it ends up being a task for you. And you have to be able to feel. You have to be able to conceptualize that and adjust that, how that responsibility affects you. Is it a fun thing to do where you're just doing it like, oh, here you go, there you go, this is your trash, here, take your trash, just take your trash? Or is like, oh my gosh, I have your trash, take your trash. Like, there's ways that you could deliver the trash.
That's definitely a fact. What they just said as well.
Family would be the first to do us dirty and continue to do fuck shit like it's okay because we're blood related. That's true. Yeah, I agree.
And that's what it is. I think it's like the accountability gets swept under the rug by, oh, well, that's your family. Oh, that's your family. You can't hold this against them. Or you shouldn't hold this against them because that's your family. And family is over everything. And, you know, those mottos and things that people always say. But damn.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the truth is the truth. And my family member is a shithead. So what you want me to do about that? Can you also admit that this family member is a shithead? Because if we could do that, then we could have a different type of conversation. Stop keep telling me something I already know, that this is my family. I know that this is my family. What I'm trying to tell you and what I'm trying to tell them is they're shitty. Can you see that they're shitty? Can you help me tell them that they're shitty? Because they don't want to hear it from me, you know? That's what I mean.
And then it's like, even with that, it's like so many factors weigh in, right? All right, so to my discretion, this family member is shitty. It's a shitty person that's playing this shitty as energy or whatever the case may be, right? But in the same token, it's like, oh, this is how they making me feel. So yeah, they may not make you feel like that at that moment or whatever, however, but this is how they making me feel. Who the hell is anybody else to tell me like, oh, you shouldn't be feeling that way, like, or you shouldn't let it bother you, or wow, this is my feelings.
Right. No, 100%. No, 100%. I'm not saying don't feel your feelings. I'm saying that separate. I'm just trying to say, like, separate your feelings from the actions of the person, because the action of the person is still committing these actions in other spaces as well, is what I'm saying. It's not 100% personal if they can't help themselves from performing this behavior, is what I'm saying.
Yes, that makes sense.
And that's what I was saying about the whole Chloe and Halle situation. Yo, Funky Dunleavy, you took that shit way too personally. You don't even know that girl. Why would you jump out of bounds like that? And now you got to apologize for jumping out of bounds. Just for those who are here, and I don't want to just feel like people are going to watch this and feel like I'm just talking about my sister. I'm not. um, I feel differently about family if I would find out my uncle or whatever is a child molester or something they've done. A child molester, you talking about crimes, like full blown crimes. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about I'm talking about like
I still think it pours into that though, because it's just like
no.
People will say,
Go ahead.
"Oh, that's my uncle. That's still my uncle." Like, "Oh, well, he raped me." "Oh, well, that's still my uncle." Like, damn, you don't care because it's your uncle, or like because it's family, and we are programmed to be like, okay, well, this is your family, family over everything. That's all I keep like. It keeps touching back to is like that family over everything aspect. I tell people all the time.
But going back to the whole point of absolving them of their accountability. That is molesting somebody is is one is a full blown crime, but is also physically disrespecting a boundary. That's a physical boundary being crossed. I'm talking about all boundaries being crossed. Anytime a boundary is being crossed, and you have to be able to communicate it. You get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm anybody who justifies anything that's being wrong. If you justify someone crossing somebody else's boundaries, you're already in the wrong, regardless of the magnitude of it, especially when it comes to a crime. First of all, that's why they have higher authorities for that. It's beyond me. Those people who just family over anything, anybody who does anything over anything is kind of weird, depending on what they're putting up there. I don't know if it froze. I think it froze. Anybody who says family over anything, money over anything, come on, come on, come on, come on, stop it, stop it. Harassed. Do you have time? Because that's not a full blown sentence, and I don't know exactly what that is referring to.
All right, let me get down. But I'm definitely gonna be in the comments.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, so like now to speak about it on the positive side, right? We understand that boundaries are being crossed. Boundaries are being crossed, harm is being inflicted. Now, like in the Bible, they have like some people speak of it as atonement. Like you have to pay for this. You have to pay for this. But an apology is just words of affirmation. You are responsible for affirming yourself, right? Letting this person know that they did something to you. I'm affirming the fact that you did something to me, right? It is up to the person that you're talking to now to understand the concept of what you're delivering to them. If you're speaking in a spiritual realm, you will call that conviction. Oh, snap. I'm convicted. Like granted they use that too in judge like in the courtrooms as far as like being convicted of. Yes, I was. But in the spiritual space or in the church, they talk about conviction where you now understand that you have done something, right? Um, if it's a sin, yes, I'm aware that I commit this sin. It's a matter of conviction, right? The real coming to the realization of which. So once you affirm that something has happened, or once someone has affirmed to you or declared, right? Because even when we say in a sentence, you have done something to me, period. I feel X, Y, and Z, period. Those are declaration. Those are declarative statements, right? And if there's any space where you don't understand, where in between you and your conviction, where you don't understand, that's where you make inquisitions, questions. You ask questions. What do you mean? I'm unaware of what you're saying. How can I make this right? Right? A convictional statement is I understand what I did to you. I'm aware that I did this to you. How can I make this right? If they care about the situation, how they will probably want to make it right, right? And that comes with repentance, right? Apologies are repentance. When you're repenting, right? When you're repenting, the idea is that you go to some may say God. In this situation, is the person who you've caused harm towards, and say, I understand, right? The conviction. I understand that I did this to you. And the repentance is that I am not going to do this again. Right? When you repent your sins to God, the idea is that you don't do them again. And once you don't deliver them again, you are now fully redeemed in the relationship. Right? Now this relationship can move forward because you've understood, like you've heard what I said, you've understood what I've said, You've also made actions to not do what I've asked you not to do on your own, because I can't control you from doing that, which allows us to be in a relationship together. So this whole idea again of social media coming in, one, forcing people or pointing out the fact that people have done something wrong, forcing people to either apologize or get the fuck out of here, but not giving them space to redeem themselves is kind of weird. To say that, oh yeah, that's a fake apology, we don't know if it's fake because we haven't given time for it to cook yet. We don't know. We don't know if he's gonna talk about the next black person or the next black woman about her looks. We don't know that yet. Like when somebody makes an apology towards you, sure, you may decide in that very moment that you don't want to be in relationship with them anymore. But if you already decided that, do you still need the apology? What do you need an apology for if you're no longer in relationship? If you're not providing that space for that person to apologize, even though you may even know that they're not going to apologize. If you don't present the opportunity for them to apologize, there's no space for redemption. There's no space for forgiveness. No, there is space. You could forgive somebody without them apologizing to you. That's on you. That's what I'm saying. It's still up to the other person too to change the behavior. It's also up to you to change your behavior too. If you understand that this person has the inability to do something that you asked for, why are you asking them to do something that is impossible for them to do? Does that make sense? And if you're already choosing that you're not going to be in a relationship with them, why even confront the situation in the first place? In this whole situation, we have to give people who we want to apologize space to grow. We have to be able to not cancel people, maybe put them on timeout, express how you feel or whatever. But this whole idea of permanently canceling people is not you. You don't have the authority to do that. I don't have the authority to do that. So recognize your authority, extend grace because you're going to want grace extended to you. Because it also says, forgive those who trespass against us as we, trespass, whatever. I don't know. I don't know it right now. But you could find it in the daily prayer, the holy prayer. Cancel culture is whack. It is whack. Cancel culture is whack because there's no space for redemption. We are redeemed every day. Now it's up to us if we do the right thing or not. And the practice of doing the right thing comes, character building, integrity, all those other things. But I'm about to head out because both of my batteries are about to die as far as my computer and my cell phone. I'm glad you were able to stick it out with me. And I'll see you on the next one. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. I'm going to go eat now too. Bye. Peace, bros.